Hey everyone, Paulie here from HardDrive Radio. I'm delighted to be joined in the studio today by AJ, Richie, and Jameson from the band Fire from the Gods.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for coming to see us today. It's good to have you guys here. Very, very excited about your new album, American Sun. It is out now, and I really want to get into that. But first, for those of our audience who might not know who you guys are, I want to take a little trip back in time. And I want to start at the beginning, and I just want to know how you guys got started, playing in music. So, AJ, let's start with you. Tell me how you started singing, man.
I started in kind of late, but I grew up around music. My dad worked he was a promoter and a reggae producer. So, and in church, you grow up singing the songs and all that good stuff. But I really started in like rock and metal in high school when I first heard heavy music for the first time. And from then on, it was just like, oh my God, And then I went to a show. A friend of mine in high school, he took me to like a hardcore show, and I saw bands like Sick of It All, Gnostic Front, and shit like that. And then I found out about CBGBs, and I found out about the Continental, which was down by Astor Place, and on St. Mark's. And then it was just like, whoa, I gotta do this. You know what I'm saying? And then saw Candiria, a band from Brooklyn, and they had like a black dude fronting the band, and I was like, yo, I can definitely do this. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, so I started out and just like everyone, just started up in a band with a couple of friends, and I was terrible at first, awful. Then I tried being a drummer, and I was bad at that, because I had no discipline. But just over the years, just kept plugging away, and finally found an opportunity that really worked and suited me and suited what I wanted to do with Fire from the Gods. And now the last 5 years have been kind of a dream, so to speak.
What was the first band that you ever heard in the rock and metal scene? What was your introduction?
Wow. All right, I'd heard a lot of like rock and metal growing up. You hear it randomly on the radio and stuff like that. So I heard Green Day, and I heard like Maiden and stuff like that. And I knew about punk rock because I was into like ska and reggae. So that kind of transitioned me into punk. But the first like real heavy band that I'd heard was it was Slipknot. Nice. Yeah. It was Slipknot was like the first like real heavy band, and then from then on it was just like death metal and Meshuggah, and then once I heard that I was like, whoa, mind's blown, especially when you're like 16, you're like, holy shit, this is the heaviest shit you've ever heard. And then Suffocation, and I saw Suffo out in Long Island. I wasn't supposed to be out there, but didn't tell my mom, and went to see Suffo, and I was like, yo, this is it, dude. And then I saw another black dude in the band. I was like, yo, this is definitely for me, you know what I'm saying? So it was just a long like period, and now at the ripe age of 35, I feel like I've had a kind of long journey with metal and heavy music. So yeah, Slipknot kind of just broke me through.
Nice. Richie, how'd you get started, man?
Man, I got my first guitar when I was like, I think I was 5, and I remember just being infatuated by a blues player that was a friend of the family, and I just wanted to learn how to play guitar super badly. And then with like, I think at 10 I had my first band, which was a Nirvana cover band. We were called Anavrin, which is just Nirvana backwards. Yeah, and we played that, which isn't even a Nirvana song, actually, Lake of Fire on their Unplugged record. I think it's a Meat Puppet song, and we played that for like a year, just that song, just over and over and over and over. And then we started learning Smells Like Teen Spirit, Come As You Are, and then I don't know why, but we started writing music along the lines of Nirvana. And yeah, I mean, that was kind of it. Like, from there on, I loved being in a band, and like that was the most fun I'd ever had, just with my mates to hang out, play music. And then we started playing shows, and along the way I picked up the drums, and then that was like game over, because that was the most fun I'd had on any instrument, because you kind of you're able to just let loose. You don't have to think about melodies. You just kind of, you keep the time and groove out and headbang, and that's pretty much it. Yeah.
When did you get your first drum kit, and do you still have it?
I don't have that kit still. I actually donated it off to the church I used to play in, but It was a Mark V. I don't even think that's like a real brand. I don't know. But I got it when I was 13. And I was, just kind of self-taught. Jammed a bunch of Rage Against the Machine and tried to somehow figure out, like, I would just sit there and kick and snare for hours just to figure out the groove and then slowly implement the hi-hats and stuff. But yeah, after a few years it kind of settled in, and here we are.
Hey, kid.
You're not kicking him out of the band anytime soon, probably, right?
Nah, we need Richie.
Jameson, when did you first pick up a guitar, man?
Oh man, I was a late bloomer when it comes to guitar. I actually played drums first.
You guys switched.
Yeah. I was a drummer first, and just when I was a little kid, just my dad plays guitar, so I would always go with him to his little rehearsals and stuff like that. Whenever they take their little breaks, I'm like looking at the drummer, like, hey, let me mess your drums up real quick, you know. And he'd be like, all right, fine. So I'd start doing that, banging around on that. And my dad got me a pair of drums. And after I annoyed him so many years, I started playing with some of my friends who were playing guitar. And after doing that for a little bit, I'm like, dude, all my friends suck at guitar. I felt like, and I was like, I'm going to pick up guitar. And my dad gave me an American Strat, actually, that he just never played anymore. I actually lucked out for one of my first little rigs. You know, he gave me a 5150 combo, like the heavy one. Whenever you turn them on, the first thing and the only thing you hear, shh, that's it. That's it. And no matter what, it'll always have that hissing sound. So I had that, played that for a little bit, and just started playing with friends and stuff like that. And so I was about 17 whenever I picked up the guitar, I guess, going into my senior year.
Nice. So you guys, meet on the road. I know, AJ, you were in other bands. You guys were in other bands. Putting together this lineup from Fire from the Gods, how many years have you guys been playing as a unit now?
Five.
Yeah, this one, I joined, we all joined actually at the same time when the respective members had left right around 2014, August 2014, because I was still living here in New York and flew down to Austin, and we jammed, and they were like, oh, let's do this, And I was like, yeah, let's fucking do this.
Great vibes, right?
It was like the last hurrah for Fire. This was going to be the last time that they were going to attempt it. And, I had known the guys for a while. And so they're like, okay, this is going to be the last attempt we're going to do for Fire from the Gods.
Jamie had been filling in for Fire for a while during their various lineup changes, during the various sound changes, because Fire was like a straight-up metalcore band for years and had a real good shot at actually doing this with a former lineup that was more along the lines of like August Burns Red and kind of like typical metalcore, and it was super heavy. Really great EP they put out that they actually did with Tim Lambesis before his issue, but and like J-Mo said, I think like Bonner had and Drew were like, this is it, we're gonna try it one more time. And for me too, I was kind of like, that's the last band, I'd done it, and I was getting older, and the one band that I was in wasn't getting much love. We had signed to a label, won't mention which label, but we signed, and they weren't showing us a lot of love, and I was like, man, I don't know, it takes a degree of, I guess, like hard-headedness, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to Austin and try this out, and it worked, and here we are today.
It's always, that one last shot that you take that's the best one.
It was funny going into it because it's just like, okay, they were all meeting for the first time and vibing, and then we're just like, it's working. We're like, all right, let's do this.
Here we go again.
The long sigh.
Here we go again. Yeah. It was kind of weird, man, how it happened, because we weren't like the friends that met and been together for years and had this long history together, but we had separate histories in other bands, so we knew what we were getting ourselves into, so to speak. Like, so getting in a van and going miles out to play for $100, to play for no one, wasn't like a foreign idea. We're like, fuck it, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing.